Hello and welcome to the Empress podcast. I am your host, Jessica, known in the online space as Jess the Empress. I started this podcast to help you be present with yourself, cope with chaos, and simplify your life. I do this by combining psychology, behavioral science, and the tarot. I have a background in mental health, specifically a master's in clinical social work from USC, and I'm a professional tarot reader. So get ready to have a nurturing, creative, and empowering experience with me as we use practical magic. Hey there, coffee lovers. Are you tired of settling for boring coffee? I have a treat for you. Today's episode is brought to you by Heartwork Coffee Bar, your one-stop destination for exceptional coffee experiences. Whether you're a coffee connoisseur or just someone who appreciates a great cup of joe, Heartwork Coffee Bar is here to elevate your coffee game to new heights. At Heartwork Coffee Bar, they take pride in their craft because each batch is carefully roasted to perfection, ensuring that every sip is a symphony of flavor. From the rich and the robust to the light and fruity, they have a coffee blend for every palate. And here's the best part. For you amazing podcast listeners, Heartwork Coffee Bar is offering an exclusive 10% discount on your purchase. Just use the code EMPRESS10 at checkout and you'll save big on your order. Why settle for ordinary when you can indulge in the extraordinary coffee from Heartwork Coffee Bar? Remember to use code EMPRESS10 for that special 10% discount and treat yourself to the coffee experience that you deserve. Don't miss out on this fantastic offer. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks to Heartwork Coffee Bar for making today's episode possible. Now go grab your favorite mug, brew a fresh cup, and enjoy the podcast with the perfect companion, Heartwork Coffee Bar. Cheers. Hey love, before we get to today's episode, I want to ask you to rate and review my podcast. Giving me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts would mean the world to me. I love knowing who's listening and what everyone is getting from the episode, so please take a moment of your time to share your thoughts, and I look forward to reading your reviews soon. Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome. It is October 3rd. It's your girl, Jess the Empress, here to do the month ahead tarot reading. I'm excited to get into this. I'm also a cozy girl today. Hopefully none of the construction in the background is getting picked up on the audio. But I have been running around like a crazy person and I'm so tired, like in the best way, but I just kind of felt like being cozy today for today's video. I don't know. It's October. It's cozy girl season. You know what I'm saying? I just need to stay nice and cozy. My motto is ABC, which is always be cozy. I kind of feel like I'm going to splurge on some new sweatpants and sweatshirts for this fall season. I also feel like I've been missing that velour that I used to have when I was like in my teens, and I'm sure it's going to come back around, but to be honest with you, even if it's not, I'm probably going to go get a couple velour jackets. I used to have black, pink, and baby blue. Like I had sets of them. I don't even remember where I got them from. It might have been like Express or Victoria's Secret or something like back in the day. I don't know. I just love it. I just love it. Oh, the early 2000s. The chokehold that velour had on us, especially Juicy Couture. You guys remember that? I don't want any labels. I just want the cute, aesthetic. Okay, so I've been shuffling the cards. You may have heard, but let's see what we're getting for the month of October. What is it that we need to know and focus on for our collective? All right, so our first card is the Devil. Our second card is the Eight of Swords. Third is the Star, and then bottom of the deck reveals the Five of Wands. Okay. October is going to bring some very interesting energy. So with the Devil card, I really feel like these two major arcanas, the Star and the Devil, are our biggest lessons, and these minor cards are the energies that we need to really focus on in our day-to-day. So with the devil card, anytime we get the devil, we have to descend to ascend. And what that means is we probably need to do some shadow work or some self-reflection on where we have ties to things in the earthly realm, like where we're starting to hold too tightly. And in like chaos magic, they call it lusting after the thing you want. But only sitting in the energy of lust just creates more lust, or wanting something so desperately just creates more want and desperation for that thing. And then the pattern that ends up manifesting is the lust or the wanting and the grasping. And so this is a pattern that we want to detach from. And so it's going to be very important that we take a step back. And when we're taking a step back and we're deciding that we are going to question things and question ourselves and question why we are believing that we have to be like this, we're then breaking the chains. And this is a metaphor for ascending. We're breaking the chains or the bonds from the things that keep us very stuck in our own minds. And so this is the descending. We dive deep into our own selves, into our own psyche, so that we can explore what's going on and then ask ourselves, do we like this? Do we want something different? And if we want something different and if we don't like it, we get to choose what we want to put in its place. I had posted something on Instagram a few days ago, and it said that nothing grows with neglect. And so when we look at these parts of ourselves, like this is the point, we have to look at it. We can't get what we want if we're not actively nurturing it. Like we can't ignore it and expect good things. We can't ignore ourselves and expect good things. Just like we can't ignore our shadow and expect it to just magically go away and not have any influence on us, in our day-to-day life. So I feel like October has a lot of this energy of like, okay, you're really like clinging to these things. So take a look at like what you're really deeply holding on to and feeling like you absolutely have to have and you cannot live without. And if you try to go without it, you're just going to be lacking in some way or totally devastated. This is some deep work this month, but I feel like we can do it. The thing with the devil card, and I know that we can do it, is because the chains that are on them, they actually aren't that they're not that tight, and both of their hands are free. So we could also look at this and say, well, what if we just lifted the chains off of ourselves? Like, we have to feel empowered enough to do this work, to do the self-reflective work. I also feel like with the devil, we have temptations. So not only are there mental temptations, right? The temptation to maybe, let's say a thought pops up in your head. Oh, I wonder what my ex is doing. Okay, this is a really normal thought. I see this every day with my clients. But instead of taking that step back and saying like, oh, this is just a thought, I don't have to do anything with it, you're immediately in action already. And you're already on their Instagram and you're already on their TikTok and you're already wondering what's going on. And you're looking up all their friends and like you're doing all this, the Instagram, social media deep dives, let's say, okay? That's a temptation of the mind. And then it becomes the bad behavior follows, right? But there are also temptations of, let's just say your ex actually comes back, messages you, and you're like, oh, this is the moment I've been dreaming about. I'm so excited. And you get so wrapped up in the fact that they're back, you totally forget why you broke up in the first place. You're like not even remembering that you totally hated the fact that they were talking to other girls on Instagram and liking all these other women's photos, or going out to the bars every evening and not coming home, like whatever the situation is, right? Whatever the issue, the core problems are between the two of you, I can pretty much say that they haven't gone away when the devil card pops up, because it is the card of temptation. Now, you are responsible for breaking free from your temptations. You're not responsible for making other people break away from their temptations, right? So it's really important that, you kind of recognize, like, is this person that I'm about to engage with, have they done their own personal work? And if not, is it wise for me to engage with them? But this requires taking a step back and self-reflecting. But I really feel like October, as much as there is like the breaking the chains and the temptation and the shadow work coming up, freedom is what rules. Freedom is what rules October. In the palm of the hand of the devil, there is the Saturn symbol. Saturn is daddy discipline. A lot of people have a really negative relationship with discipline because discipline doesn't feel good. It's not supposed to feel good. It's just not. But it means I really feel like if you have this really negative relationship with discipline, you probably haven't experienced the rewards that discipline can bring. Not just material rewards, because that's definitely possible, but it's this internal boost of confidence that is unshakable. You get that with discipline. You know that no matter what is going on in this chaotic world, you are showing up and you are doing what matters to you, and nothing is going to stop you. That is true power. That is true freedom, but that comes from discipline. So again, you cannot neglect yourself and expect yourself to be a disciplined person. You can't neglect your goals and expect them to manifest. Those two things don't work, right? So in the Eight of Swords, we have this transformational energy. And another person who is sitting bound, or actually she's standing, or he, I don't know, a person, they're bound and they're blindfolded. This can really, and they're isolated as well. This can point to that isolation before freedom. It can take us to a really dark place, right? Isolation can, overthinking can, acting helpless. It can take us to a dark place. It can reinforce that we're not good enough. And because we're not good, or we believe that we're not good enough, we don't try. Because we think, well, I'm just helpless. I just can't do this on my own. I just can't figure it out. There's no way. And then we get stuck. So I want you to challenge yourself if you're stuck, to say, maybe I'm not stuck. Maybe there's just something that I need to figure out, right now. You know what I mean? Maybe the direction I'm headed is fine, but the way that I'm going about it is just not the best way for me. So I've got to untangle something here. Again, let me pause, let me observe, and let me ask myself some critical questions what else can I do differently? And why do I believe I'm stuck? Oh, because things aren't working out the way that I want them to in my timing. And of course, according to the first plan that I come up with. Oh, okay. Well, the devil says, let's sit down. Okay. Excuse me. Let's exercise some discipline here to go back to the drawing board, to really pull out why you think that you can't do this. Why do you not believe that you can figure this out? If you need to nurture some feelings and some other parts of you, by all means, please do so. That's so important. With the Eight of Swords, this woman is sitting, I keep saying woman. I guess I've just made an automatic association that it is a woman. This person is standing on water. I feel like this is a good symbol for how there's stillness and intuition within, even when we're freaking out, even when we're anxious, even when we feel stuck. There is still something within us. But it is only when we use our other senses that we feel it, that we are in touch with it. Eights are transformational, okay? So you're transforming something in the mind. You're transforming the way that you're perceiving yourself, and you're getting in touch with your inner senses this month in October. And what a perfect time, because it's spooky season, so the veil is super thin. If you're calling on, gods, goddesses, other deities, if you're working with elements such as water or air or whatever, I feel like you're going to have a deeper connection to it. But again, going back to discipline, when you are rushing around and you are ignoring some form of mindfulness or some form of meditation, I'm not going to say it's impossible for you to hear that small voice within. I'm just going to say it is more difficult for you to hear it. I want it to be easy for you. Spirit wants it to be easy for you. If you want it to be easy for you, you must apply some form of practice in order for it to be easier. I really feel like right now is the perfect time to practice and to get into a routine. And the reason I say now is because we have November and December coming up. There's holidays. There are a lot of corporate events, there's a lot of socializing, there's a lot of family events, running and bumping into people, or running around with people and bumping into people that we haven't like seen in a long time. It's a busy time. With a more full social calendar, why wouldn't you want to solidify a habit of checking in with yourself now? It's not going to get easier the busier you get. It's going to be easier now. Okay, so this is why I just really want to encourage you to go ahead and really make this a practice that you're dedicating yourself to. It only takes 45 days to create a habit. Only 45 days. That means you can get through October and mid-November before all the holidays kick off, and you're pretty much in a good habit of mindfulness and meditation. Even just journaling a little bit, self-reflection, okay? We have to be in the habit of this. This is what high-quality people do. I know you're a high-quality person because you wouldn't be here otherwise. So start this practice now. I cannot reinforce this enough. With the star card, we have a lot of balance happening, which I think is so, so beautiful. We have healing happening. But Spirit is telling you that this healing doesn't happen, again, through neglecting yourself. This happens through paying attention to yourself and your needs. With the star, you can see the person is in 1 foot in water, 1 foot on land. They're pouring into water, they're pouring onto land, and they have these stars of their head. This heron in the background is another symbol for healing. And I just think that this is so significant because imagine having this transformative experience with yourself where you're starting to pay attention to your needs. That is powerful. And the reason it's powerful is because the prior relationship with yourself has been years of neglect. You immediately change that through the moment you actively pay attention to yourself. I feel like there's this conception of healing that's like, it's always these big, wild, crazy things that happen that are transformative, and we need all this amazing stuff to happen to totally heal us or transform us. And it's like, yes, sure, that is part of it, but that's not the whole story. And again, if we look at the devil card, if we look at discipline, we need to descend to ascend. The spiritual gurus or whoever it is that you look up to that has it quote unquote all together and quote unquote all figured out, which I think is a myth, but whatever. Those people have probably created some type of discipline in their life that has allowed them to remain grounded and has given them the tools, and has given them the tools that they need. I don't know if I can show this label. And has given them the tools that they need to be that inspiration to you or that motivation for you in times that you're looking for it or really needing it. You know what I mean? So here we have this star, and here we have a hope for your future. But it's all happening right now. Neglecting yourself now, again, creates a pattern of neglect. Focusing on yourself now creates a pattern of focusing on yourself, right? We love this. We absolutely love it. Let me see what else I'm getting from this star. It just feels to me like there's a lot more peace. Like it really does. It just feels more peaceful, more serene. Like you're more available to enjoy the present moment without the distractions of the mind. And again, without that clinginess and without that lusting. Like you feel very clear and balanced. And so again, this is what October is going to bring you when you release, when you really do detach and let go. And there's nothing wrong with having attachments. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. I have to say that because I feel like within the spiritual community or the self-development community, there's just a lot of false information about how like you need to kill the ego forever and never, that's the way that you ascend. It's like, well, we can't get rid of our ego. But we can definitely have a healthier ego, right? Than one that is so like desperate and clingy. There's a quote, and I don't even know if I'm going to say it right, so please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But it's something like, detached from everything but connected to everything. And essentially it's just saying that like there's no desire for things to happen immediately. Like you're just so at peace and you're so okay knowing that like chaos is real, you know, and like things happen, but you're good. Like you're good regardless of what happens. Like you're just so strong in your sense of self that you fully understand that life is going to have its ups and downs, and that it's never going to mess with your self-worth. Like money is going to come and go, and it's never going to mess with your self-worth. People are going to come and go, and then it's not going to mess with your self-worth. There's that kind of energy that I keep getting for the month of October for us. And with the 5 of Wands in the reverse position, I just want you to pay attention to where you're stirring the pot unnecessarily and where that old, desperate part of you is really trying to manipulate some things around you, be it people and circumstances. And then inherently, there's really nothing wrong with manipulation. We all do it. Babies do it. Babies do it when they smile at us and, you know, they're crying or whatever. And then they'll like smile or they'll want to get our attention or whatever. And like, you know, it's a way that they like connect with us, but it's still manipulation. It's still manipulation in the best way, in the cutest way, right? But my point is with the 5 of Wands in the reverse position, there can sometimes be this very quick reaction to circumstances or to people that puts us in the defense. And there's a reason for this. You need to ask yourself, what is the reason that I feel defensive? What is the reason that I just simply cannot hear a different opinion, or I can't seem to internally tolerate this circumstance? Why is that? Why is that? What's going on within me? Since the 5 of Wands is in the reversed position, this is a bigger internal day-to-day reflection that you can really sink your teeth into. And I think it's a great one because with Wands, we do have fire, and fire is protective as an energy. And so defensiveness is protective. This is a coping skill. This is something that we've all probably learned how to do based on the people that were around us when we were growing up or in our teens or whatever. And we just have to ask ourselves, is this making for good relationships? Is this making for a good relationship within myself? I kind of feel that the 5 of Wands, when it's reversed especially, can be internal conflict, where there's just some opposition and some friction. And there's a part of you that is coming up, that is showing up internally to protect you, but then it's sort of butting up against another part of you that's like, well, maybe there's a different way to do this. Maybe I don't have to be as defensive. Maybe I can soften. I find that the 5 of Wands as a message usually brings curiosity to the table as an option for us and says, here's something that I want you to think about. I want you to think about what it would be like if you leaned into this coping, if you got curious about it and you were like, what's going on here? As opposed to being like, whatever, this is how I am, you know, and like really shutting it down. Again, if we talk about the differences of ways to grow, we have looking at it and we have seeking to understand, and then we have shutting it out and rejecting it. I'm always going to recommend that we seek to understand ourselves and whatever is going on. And so just getting curious about this coping can be really, really helpful. And you already start to neutralize that defensive energy when you choose curiosity. But 5s represent a choice, and I want to say that this is not about perfection. This is again about creating a habit of curiosity in your life. A growth mindset, one of the fundamental components in a growth mindset is curiosity. Deciding to be open about whatever's happening in the current moment instead of, again, like shutting it out and acting like it's not that big of a deal. I'm not really sure. I don't know if you guys saw that pop up on the screen. I got a thumbs up and I don't know where that came from. Very weird. Anyway, that may show up on the audio, or on the video. I have no idea. Maybe it's like something new that they built into this program. I can't keep up. Anyway, it's like a total like derailment from what I'm talking about. But with the Five of Wands, we're getting curious. So Spirit's giving us this really beautiful message and saying, like, get curious this month, because it is going to transform you. It is going to be a part of what heals you, because I want to just reflect how that happens. We had caretakers, we had teachers, we had people growing up that probably did not get curious for whatever reason. Okay, it doesn't matter. What matters right here, right now. They didn't get curious, so we carry the pattern of rejection. But when we, as the individual with free will and a beautiful mind and a beautiful soul, choose to get curious, we are already healing. I feel like we forget that healing is done with the small steps. And again, not these big, amazing experiences that happen that just magically wipe away all the pain. But I want you to know that you are really making strides. Like, you really are. You're growing, and it's so beautiful. But I hope that this month is helpful for you. I hope that this month is healing for you. I hope that this month holds some significance with magic. I always feel like the devil is such a magical card. It's one of my favorites. I mean, I have Baphomet tattooed on my leg, just with the duality, which is what we see here in the devil with one hand up and one hand down. Symbolizing like you have to descend to ascend. There's no way to break away from the chains of your mind, of these physical temptations, of the emotional temptations that just life itself has. There's no way to break free from it if you don't understand that it's happening within you. And so contemplation and self-reflection are beautiful, beautiful tools that will help you break free and that will help you create an action plan for yourself that is healing. If you think about pain management, and if you think about a healing management plan, you see this in medical practices. It's the same thing for our mental health practice. It's the same thing for our spiritual practice. We have to have an action plan. So this month's action plan includes a lot of, I feel like, meditation and self-reflection. Journaling if you're a journal girly. Eight of Swords would also be getting into your community, because this person in the card is in isolation from their community. Just a little hint and, sign from Spirit being like, hello, you don't have to do this alone. And of course, you guys know I've got coaching programs, so don't hesitate to message me, and we'll come up with something that could really be beneficial for you. I also have the Power Hour, which has been going really, really well with clients, but I talk about the different fundamental components in confidence and in building confidence. And one of those is competence. It's really feeling like what you have in front of you, you can do, you can figure it out. And when you believe you can figure it out, you have that knowing within you, it's almost impossible for it to be wiped away. And it is a motivating factor. And it also dovetails perfectly into discipline, because when you know you can figure something out, you're going to show up to figure it out, regardless of how you feel. And so there's a lot of that happening in the Power Hour. I recommend it. It's a great little 1 hour session with me. There's no tarot cards involved. I'm strictly coaching you. But it's great. You have a PDF that you take home that you journal on as well. But we have hope, right? We do. We see this all the time. And I think if we can remain tethered to hope, it is such a powerful emotion. It is such a powerful place to be mentally as well, with hope for the future, hope for the present. And then, the fun Five of Wands, feeling that friction and just getting curious about it. What's this resistance? What's this going on within me? It's a beautiful place. But it makes you so much more available for the fun outside of you when you're clear, and it makes life more entertaining, I feel like, because you're not taking things so personally, and you don't believe that you have to force your ideas onto anything, and you can just kind of live your days in a way more relaxed way, right? Because you're just knowing things are happening, and I've accepted a lot of things that I used to fight against. So I want that for you. But that wraps up October. So let me know how October flows for you, and I will talk with you soon.